She was going to triple the wealth tax, not 2%, but 6%. By the way, can we talk for a second about this wealth tax nonsense? Because people do not understand what a wealth tax is. They do not. They think that this is just an increase in the income tax.
They think
this is bullshit. Okay, like, pardon the language, but it's bullshit. Okay, wealth tax is one of the worst ideas ever created by the human mind. Okay, it's basically the equivalent of an estate tax. So when you die, the government, because they're terrible, they decide that they're going to step over your corpse, pry open your safe, take all the money you've already paid taxes on, and then steal it from you so that you can't give it to your children, which was, of course, was the entire purpose of you earning money over the course of your lifetime. The estate tax is patently evil. Okay, so now, but it's not just they pry open the safe. They then assess the value of every piece of property that you own, including your business interests and your stocks. And then they take 40% of that if you haven't been smart enough to get a living trust. Folks, go check out a living trust at LegalZoom.com today.
Right.
Make it happen right now. Do not give that money to the damned federal government.
But you know what's especially stupid about this wealth tax is she says she's only going to go after the billionaires. It's a familiar storyline. There are about 621 billionaires in the United States. Their combined wealth, not their income, their wealth, the money that they have, is a little over $3 trillion. And I'm actually being generous here with my estimates. If you took every single penny they had, you took the shirt off their back, you left them destitute, you would not pay a tiny fraction of this plan, which is it 20 trillion? Is it 30 trillion? The whole plan is 52 trillion.
You pay for 1 year worth of her plan.
Or less than 1 year.
Right.
What do you do then?
But to get back to the details of what a wealth tax is so people understand how evil a wealth tax is, a wealth tax requires the government and you to assess the value of everything that you own every single year and then take a percentage off the top of that. So when she says 2% of your wealth, okay, let's take an example. We have a business here at Daily Wire. The business earns money. We have to assess the value of the business.
We have to add up the leftist tears tumblers, the grapes, the lights, the cameras.
And I'll tell you who this. I'll tell you who this absolutely F's. The people it absolutely F's are the business owners. Because if you own a business, let's say that you own a business for the sake of argument, and the business, so the wealth tax is supposed to kick in at $50 million, is what she says now, right? That as soon as you get to $50 million, every dollar above that, and you're going to start paying into this routine. Okay, so let's say that you have a business and the business is worth $50 million. But what that actually means is that the business is being valued by 3 times its gross, basically. So let's say that the business makes $17 million this year, and you, being a good boss, you're only paying yourself $500,000. Right? All the rest of it goes to expenses, all of the rest goes to costs, all of the rest goes to employees. So you're paying yourself $500,000, and it's a $17 million a year business. But it's valued at $50 million because it's using 3 times gross to value the business.
That means that your net worth, you make $500,000 a year.
But it means that you will be paying 2% of $50 million. You'll be paying $1 million in taxes on an income of $500,000 a year.
Ben, it's even worse than that. It means, because it's not like that money even is sitting in the bank. You're not paying yourself $500,000 and
then
leaving
$20 million
in the bank.
This is right.
What this means is you will have to liquidate assets in order to pay the tax.
Correct.
People think of these Silicon Valley billionaires, right? I read a story 2 years ago about Mark Zuckerberg, founder of Facebook, worth something at the time, something like $70 billion. I don't know what he's worth today. At the time, he's worth something
like 120 billion or something.
Yeah, $1 billion. And he had put in, because he has to file this with the SEC and with his board, he had put in that he wanted to liquidate $1 billion worth of his interest in Facebook. Silicon Valley went into a panic. And at the time, it was the most money that any Silicon Valley tech founder had ever tried to convert into cash out of their business. Stock prices start to dive because they think, well, if the founder and CEO is selling his stock, we must need to get out as well. And then the whole net worth, not only of him, but of people with mutual funds, people with 401ks, everybody invested in the market starts to collapse. What that means is, if we started a broom company, and we invented the best broom anybody's ever had, and we manufacture them, and we sell our brooms, and promo code Shapiro, we sell a ton of them. And then we sell our broom company to
Hillary Clinton, probably.
Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, if I had to guess.
The only person who could afford it.
We sell it to Hillary Clinton for $3 billion. And by the time you pay all your taxes, you pay out all your employees, you pay all your legal costs. Let's say we clear, there's $1 billion left in Jeremy Boring's account. I doubt that I have much less money than plenty of guys who are on paper worth $20 billion.
This is right, because
Mark Zuckerberg's fortune is in his stock. Jeff Bezos' fortune is in his stock. Now, don't get me wrong, they have access to all kinds of wealth through the company, money that they pay themselves in salary. They're doing great. But a guy who sells a company for $3 billion probably has more cash on hand
Right.
than these billionaires.
And the reason that matters is
stock,
because...
but that stock is also invested in other companies which are hiring people
Right.
to do work.
right.
That's right.
And
when you
have to
make them
liquidate, you have to
bring
liquidate
the
stock
whole value of the stock market down.
But
fewer people are going to get hired, fewer people's retirements are going to come through.
But the short way of saying this, which is just true, is the left no longer understands why business is there except to fund their plans. They have absolutely no clue about the value of work, about the dignity of work, about the dignity of building stuff, about the magic of inventing stuff.
Or how the economy grows, right? I mean, there's a study today.
What makes it beautiful? I mean, this is what makes this country so great, is people building things, like just building things out of nothing, sitting in their garage and building billion-dollar companies. This is an amazing thing. And they just think it's there to fund their plans.
I actually want to say something about this before we take questions. There's a kind of ethics that most people never have to contemplate, but as a business owner, you have to contemplate this kind of ethics. It's the ethics of business. When is it moral to fire someone? When is it immoral not to fire someone? What do you do with profits in your company? How do you invest and diversify?
Hold on a second. I don't know. Let's take the questions. Let's go on to questions.
But these are actually ethical questions. They affect people's lives. There's right and wrong answers, and it can be a little bit challenging to navigate some of those waters. One of the things that bothers me as a business owner is when I hear people who've never contemplated the ethics of business condemn business people as unethical. Did you know that 58% of working Americans, I just learned this today, say that they would trust a stranger more than their boss? This is offensive.
Patently absurd.
Patently absurd. It's offensive because your boss absolutely trusts you. Otherwise, they wouldn't have hired you and put you in a position to advance or harm their interests.
Right.
So they're putting their trust in you, and the majority of their workers don't trust them in return. And the reason is because people like Bernie Sanders and people like Elizabeth Warren constantly say the CEO class is against you. The CEO class employs you.
Right.
Yeah.
They say the billionaires are stealing from you. The billionaires have created so much wealth that global poverty, not just America, global poverty is at an all-time low. If you have a job in America today, you have an entrepreneur to thank. Hey, like what you saw? Of course you did. You wouldn't have stayed until the very end if you didn't. Now you can do your part and tap that like button for me. It's sort of like petting the algorithm. You wouldn't not pet a dog, would you? Don't be a dog hater. Press the button.